Thunder Run was the first wooden roller coaster at Kentucky Kingdom. There aren't many coasters left from the Dinn Corporation, but Thunder Run is one of the few still standing. However, this ride has undergone extensive track work and layout modifications over the years. Some changes were positive, others were not. But does all this make it the best Dinn coaster currently in operation? I will explain in this review. Kentucky Kingdom opened back in 1987 with just one roller coaster, a Schwarzkopf Jetstar named Star Chaser, and it was placed indoors. Ed Hart acquired the property in 1989, and he began rapidly expanding the park. This included two new roller coasters in 1990. One was a Vekoma boomerang named Vampire, and the other was a wood coaster named Thunder Run. Now this wood coaster was not originally intended for Kentucky Kingdom. The Dinn Corporation designed this wood coaster for the now defunct LeSwordsville Lake Amusement Park in Ohio, but that park could not afford it. Ed Hart swooped in and purchased the layout to save on time and development costs. Thunder Run is a double out and back layout. It's very similar to Hurler, which currently runs at Carowinds and used to be at Kings Dominion. You have high-speed, low turns at each end of the layout with bunny hills in between. When Thunder Run originally opened, it was the back of the park, and the back end of the ride ran alongside a field of dirt. Now Thunder Run is surrounded on all sides by pathways, water slides, and amusement rides. The park built up around it. The ride now looks good. The lift hill looks larger than it really is sitting behind the water slides. Then the blue train pops against the brown track and supports. And the ride currently sports a large vibrant sign bearing the ride's name. This ride also used to have a more exciting layout. Now unfortunately, I couldn't find any photos or videos I could get permission to use, but I recommend checking out the POV on YouTube from Howard Gillooly. This is the only POV I've found showing what the layout used to look like in 1990, and it has some additional airtime hills. The twisting hill right after the second turn used to be much shorter, then was followed by 3 consecutive bunny hills. These hills look comically sharp. Today, Thunder Run stretched that twisted hill out and removed 2 of the 3 bunny hills. The few people I've talked to that rode Thunder Run in the original iteration said these bunny hills had wild ejector pops. You barely had any time to return to your seat in between each hump. However, they said it tracked horrifically. I cannot find the exact year this modification occurred, but it happened soon after it opened. It had been changed by the mid-1990s. After Six Flags purchased Kentucky Kingdom in the late 1990s, I heard this ride got quite rough. Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom closed in 2009 due to an ongoing lease dispute with the Kentucky Fair Board. This caused Thunder Run to sit idle for 4 years. Kentucky Kingdom and Thunder Run reopened in 2014, and the ride received a lot of TLC since then. First, the coaster got a brand new train from Philadelphia Toboggan Coasters in 2017. Second, much of the coaster has been retracked. Rides from the Dinn Corporation do not have the best reputation in terms of smoothness, but Thunder Run is fairly tolerable. The straight bits are smooth. The low turns can be pretty bumpy though. The front is smooth throughout, but the back cars, especially in a wheel seat, can bounce you about. That is why I recommend waiting a few extra trains if needed for the front row. Despite the one-train operations, this ride usually is a short wait. The ride's queue line is physically long, but I've never seen it longer than 10 to 15 minutes, and this includes a handful of visits on weekends no less. The restraints are pretty typical for a PTC train. You have a seatbelt across your lap and individual ratcheting lap bars. I would recommend holding onto the bar once it's checked though. Otherwise, it has a tendency to lower further when the train jackhammers during the layout. This impacts your ability to experience this ride's airtime. Once dispatched, you turn out of the station and ascend the 90-foot or 27-meter tall lift hill. Once at the top, you have a 180-degree left-hand turn giving a nice aerial view of the park. And a fun fact about this ride, every turn takes you left. Then you have a 74-foot or 23-meter tall first drop. Unfortunately, it is not profiled in a way that offers any airtime. It simply gets you up to speed for the rest of the layout. You hit a max speed of roughly 50 miles per hour or 85 kilometers per hour, and then you navigate a low bank turn. It has great speed, because the inside of the turn whizzes past a series of trees. But this typically is the bumpiest part of the ride. It's fine towards the front, but it's very bouncy further back in the train. Next comes the highlight of the ride, 3 consecutive bunny hills. Each one offers plentiful negative Gs regardless of where you're sitting. The first one is my favorite. It's the small hill offering a strong ejector pop. Then the exit subtly twists you right, giving a quick jolt of laterals as well. Then you have 2 larger bunny hills back to back. Both have solid and sustained floater airtime. Next comes another low turn to reverse your direction. It can be bumpy, but in recent years it has been riding decently. You then have that heavily modified section, and this part is not great. You have this elongated twist right. It's too drawn out to offer any airtime or laterals. It feels like someone just hit autocomplete. I really wish the old bunny hills were still here to liven up this part of the ride. The one remaining bunny hill does offer a pop of airtime. It is weak to decent, depending how fast the ride is running. Next comes a bank turnaround. It offers a pinch of laterals, and it typically tracks better than the low turns. You then have one last bunny hill. This one has solid speed, but it doesn't really deliver any airtime, which is unfortunate. You then have one more low left-hand turn, but this one is a surprise head chopper midway through it. Then you have another section where the designers hit autocomplete. This time, you have this long flat turn and a gradual ramp upwards towards the brake run. There was room to add an extra 1 or 2 bunny hills, but instead, you finish with a whimper getting no forces whatsoever. You then slam to a stop on the final brakes. After a brief pause, you return to the station, ending the 2,850 foot or 870 meter long coaster. So, what would I rate Thunder Run? I would give this coaster a 5 out of 10. It is a fine coaster. The main issue for me is the pacing. The ride carries plenty of speed, but I take issue with the layout. That outward leg is really good. Those initial 3 bunny hills have some good airtime, but the second half does nothing for me. You have a lot of awkward straight track and no negative Gs. It is a shame this coaster squanders such a strong start with such a lackluster finale. The ride is tolerable at this time, at least thanks to its track work, outside the low turns and wheel seats further back in the train. Now, is this the best Dinn coaster? It's the smoothest one still in operation, which is why I think it tends to be the favorite for most people. But it's not my personal favorite. I prefer Predator at Six Flags Darien Lake because it has stronger airtime start to finish, and I don't find that coaster unbearable like most people. Thunder Run is not one of the top coasters at Kentucky Kingdom, but it's a nice supporting ride and well worth a lap each visit for that outward leg. So those are my thoughts on Thunder Run at Kentucky Kingdom. What are your thoughts on this coaster? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.